Hi, welcome back. In the next series of videos we're going to look at doing some hollowing. We'll start with a basic box and start to introduce some hollowing tools like the 8mm carbide, and then throughout the different videos, if you'd like to continue following, we'll be doing some more complicated hollow forms with various tools and techniques on how to do that. I have a piece of cherry and we'll just get that mounted up between centres. I have a stab centre in the chuck here for quickness, and I have my drive on this end. So what I like to always do is just put the spindle lock in and just tear the fibres of the end grain just to make the teeth go in deeper. I take 30 seconds to do that, and then I know that it's in there nice and strong. So we just get this rough down with a spindle roughing gouge. Now I'm going to use the parting tool to put a spigot on each end. I have my calipers set. And then when we're making a basic box, we need about 1/3 for the lid and 2/3 for the base. So we're going to part down with the thin parting tool here. Make sure you go down in 2 cuts. And never go all the way down. You have to stop with just a little bit of timber left. And then you can saw or break that in 2. Now what we do is we always do the inside of the lid first. This is my technique. So this bit's the inside of the lid. First we need to clean this area up here. I'm going to use a 3/8 spindle gouge. We're going to start hollowing that out now with my 8mm carbide. It's this tool here. It's a square bar with an 8mm round cutting carbide. It's not a scraper, it will actually cut. But the way this design is made is that if it's always left flat on the rest, this is the correct cutting angle of shear cutting, and will give the best finish. Very easy tool to use, very versatile, and great for this sort of project. So make sure you always remove the tailstop, live centre. And then we want to be cutting on the centre line. Now these tools actually like to cut at a fast speed, so 2000, 2500, something like that. We're actually going 3200 there. Now if you go in straight, it doesn't like to cut straight away, so the best results, you start here and it cuts in, and then you just pivot round. Go a little bit deeper. And what I like to do is just get this area set so that it will fix onto the bottom. So we need a nice parallel edge here, and I'm going to use my detail tool to do that. I like to use the round bar, and because it's round it will cut parallel. Square bar parting tools, the square pushes you off, but this is round and it can cut parallel. What I like to do is look down at the bed bars here, and when I'm standing in this position I can look down and I can see if I'm cutting parallel. Small chamfer on that inside edge, and then I'm going to use the carbide tool just to do a nice finishing cut. So I'll just put a bit of a dome on the top there. So just get it cutting on the centre, and it's a pivoting action. It's not too much pressure, nice and gently. Pivot round just till we meet that spot. And if we just stop and have a look, hopefully you can see how good the finish is straight from the tool. Hardly no sanding whatsoever. So that would need just a little bit of light sanding, 240 onwards, but we'll miss that process and just show you how the box comes together. So that bit comes off now, and we'll get the base on. And the first job is just to clean that untidy edge with the spindle gouge. And I do that so that we can put some sort of markings on there, because we need to take that measurement and add it to the face of this. Now I like to use some verniers, make sure they're metal ones. Plastic ones just melt, they're not very good. So some good stainless steel verniers. We take that across the diameter, we wobble to make sure we have the full diameter, and then we can lock this off. Just slide that out carefully. And then I like to use these to measure. Now if you're not happy with this, you could just use a pencil line. I'll show you this technique first. So just guess the edge. You have to be very careful these points don't dig in both together when you're making your measurement. So you could use this, and you could see we're slightly out. So make the line bigger, like so. And if you follow watching these videos, we'll show you another technique which is quicker, a bit more difficult, but we'll show that in a later video, so keep watching. So we have the correct size here. Yeah, just by guessing and making the steps bigger. Now the next stage, what we need to do is start to put a shoulder on here, and this is going to be so that we can fit this on, but it needs to be a nice tight fit so we can tap that on and actually turn the outside. So we need to make like a jam fit. So the technique for that is to make a chamfer. Yeah, we have our reference point here. So if we make a chamfer down to that reference point, this should start to fit on somewhere, and then we can adjust the chamfer to make it fit completely. So before we get to there, I go off the edge, make a chamfer. You can do it with it spinning, but it could take it out of your hand, so it's best to stop. Not quite, just a little bit more. Should start to just bite on now. Yeah, okay. So, with this you can see we're in the middle of the chamfer. Quite often it will give you a witness mark, which you can see. So if you put this on and just twist, yeah, I can just about see the line here that tells me that's where I need to take the chamfer to. So I need to just come in on this edge here and take a small amount off. Okay, it's quite a good fit, but yeah, okay. But we can make a slightly stronger fit by wetting this, and the fibres expand, and that will grab hold of that a lot stronger. So just with tea, coffee, water, just wet this like this. Be very quick because we have this on, and in about 30 seconds this will be super tight. And that will hold enough in order to turn the outside edge. So we can true just the outside. We can use the spindle roughing gouge just to get a nice clean finish. And then we can clean the face. You can just make a nice undercut. Then we can sand this area here. Now be very careful when you're sanding the end grain, because of the heat build-up will make cracks. So turn the speed down, 1800 RPM. Be very, very careful not to overheat. So just small sands each time. Yeah, through the grits, and we can get that sanded. Now this is all sanded, we have to get the lid off. So what we do is we just tap here, like so, until we get the lid off. Okay, yeah, looking good. So the next stage is to take the inside out. There might be slight movement, which might make it tighter. But we can adjust this, probably with some light sanding, to get the perfect fit once we've taken the inside out. One technique to drill the hole out is to use a spindle gouge. Swept back 3/8, and we tilt this over at 45, and we can use it like a drill to go down to depth. So the flute, 45 this way. We start cutting on the centre, and it will start to drill by itself. So we want to go down to this depth here and put our finger on, like so. Keep clearing the waste. And very quickly we can just take the centre out. This makes the operation of the 8mm quicker. So we can go faster speed. I can feel when we've reached the very bottom. I can do some undercutting here. We'll do a finishing cut. Slightly heavy, I'm just going to do another one. Just much less pressure, nice and gently. You can see the shavings coming off. We come up the side and gently out. Just take that sharp edge off the corner. Now to sand the inside, I'll turn the speed down again to about 800 RPM. And then we can use some abrasive to actually get in and sand the inside. So kicking around the workshop, I get loads of offcuts like this, which I keep so we can make a jam fit to actually finish the bottom of the box off. So just a scrap piece. I'll just clean the bottom off. Now another technique that you can use is, let me show you this. We showed you with the pencils previously, but if you use your verniers like so, carefully take them out, lock that off. You can use that to transfer the size. Now you've got to be careful that both points don't touch the wood. So we're only going to mark with the left one. We point slightly downhill. We mark the wood and we just move it until it meets up with the right hand side. Yeah? The right hand side never touches the wood, it just gets close so that you can see that you've made the right measurement. So we use the parting tool. Again, I'm going to use a chamfer. Just see if we're just starting to bite on that edge. Okay. A little bit more, just in that corner. Yeah, pretty good. We use the wet technique, so just add some water, tea, coffee. So that's on there nice and tight, but for security, because we have our spigot, we can bring up the towel stock. This has a really nice long quill, so you can extend this. And not too much pressure, just a little bit for security. We can get here and make a nice undercut. The last bit, you can take this away. There's a slight undercut on here, but be very, very careful just on the last small piece. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So let's get that sanded. Turn the speed down about 800 RPM. And then we can get the bottom sanded so that we can finish. So now we're all sanded, we're going to use the same technique just to tap this off with your palm. We'll see if we can match the grain up. Yeah, and we have the nice, just little push fit, still holds itself, basic box.